And I mentioned Kalanovic and I mentioned Tom Lee. Symbiotic notes from both of them today. They are definitely on the same page. Jim Lebenthal, it's all about risk on. And the funny thing is, you're on that page, too, because you say it's all in on risk, and that's where you are.
Yeah, you know, I feel a bit like a broken record, and I hate to be boring on the show by repeating myself, but it's the same thing as last week, Scott. I think you just look at you look at the macro environment, and you say you've got profits coming in much better than expected. Yeah, there's some pull forward from next year, but not a lot. You've got a very supportive Fed. They'll go whenever they go. I'm not going to worry about that. If liftoff is the end of 2022, that's more than a year away. I'm not going to worry about that. You've got infrastructure that looks like it's coming. I mean, it's hard to derail that at this point in time. You've got the economy reopening. You've got jobs being created. And you know what? This is exactly what I said to you last week, and I'm sorry about that, but I just find it hard to paint the bear case.
Why are you apologizing for having conviction on your view? I don't know. Why are you apologizing?
Because I'm boring. You know what? What I'm saying is I'm all invested. I'm in the cyclicals. I'm in the growth at a reasonable price stocks, and I'm making money. I'm happy being boring and making money. And to all of our viewers, that's what you should be doing, too.
All right.
I don't want people to say, hey, these guys on CNBC are always bullish. We're not always bullish, but here's the truth. By far, most of the time, the right call is to be bullish. And right now, the fundamentals just absolutely support the call.
You've been far from always bullish, so I wouldn't even paint yourself into that kind of corner from the outset. Stephanie Link, Tom Lee, he's not apologizing. He says we continue to expect an everything rally in the second half of this year as the peaking of the Delta wave will be a big sigh of relief. Kalanovic, as I mentioned, and he's been known to move markets before, he says positioning against the reflation trade went too far. He said, we stay with our pro-risk allocations this month, given strong global growth. We continue to see the global economy accelerating into the second half. We thus expect the reflation trade, cyclical stocks, bond yields, reflation, and reopening themes to rebound as Delta variant fears subside. Different person, same theme as Tom Lee, though, and for large matter, Farmer Jim.
Yep, and me. I've been on the cyclical bandwagon for a long time, and I got to tell you, since May, cyclicals have actually underperformed. So have reopened, and so I think, and so have services, by the way, too. And so I think that you can see a catch-up trade. So I agree with everyone so far. I like Tom Lee's call on financials. He made the right call to get negative back in June. It's the right call to get positive right now. But look, any given day, we have this back and forth. We have Delta cases going higher and the unknowns there. We have peak growth concerns and the unknowns there. On the flip side, you still have very solid economic growth. I mean, just in the last couple of days alone, the non-farm payroll numbers were better than expected. Wages were up 4% annualized. Initial claims, the 4-week moving average, down 250,000. Home prices up 18% on the year. JOLTS yesterday, that was kind of jaw-dropping, if you will. The ISM new orders numbers is very bullish for CapEx. So all of this, as Jim just mentioned, is translating into profits, 80% earnings growth. Who knows about Delta? But the stimulus is in the system. It's not going away anytime soon. And that's going to be a tailwind for equities. And again, I lean more towards the cyclicals and reopens because they've lagged so much in the last couple of months.
Josh Brown, what do you make of this?
I just think everything that we've been talking about on the show is exactly what's playing out. And it's not because we're fortune tellers or because we can predict the future. If you just focus on fundamentals and technicals, they gave you the right positioning. Market's been strong all year. The rotation beneath the surface has been incredible. One of the best bull market rotations over the last 6 to 12 months that anyone has ever seen. And all of that talk about deterioration in the internals, people need to learn to widen the lens. They're looking at like 5 days worth of activity. You're not giving the rotation time for these comebacks to happen. So the cyclicals are coming back now, as Stephanie mentioned. The financials look nasty right now. They're all breaking out. They busted out of that base. We've been talking about that base for a long time. Now you got new highs. COF, Capital One Financial, Discover Financial. Look at these stocks. The technicals are great. Well, what are the fundamentals? A consumer who has never been in the shape that they've been in our lifetimes. That's the fundamentals. So when you have the technicals, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, I wish I could curse on the show. I would say holy, S.
I got you.
These stocks look amazing.